It's a boy. This is the Pulsar that started it all for a whole new generation of bikers in India. The first generation of the Pulsar. It was followed up by this, the DTSI. Created a lot of waves in the market for the kind of performance that it brought to the table at an affordable price tag. And of course, who can forget the 220F? Brought quarter fairing, fuel injection, a lot of new tech and a lot of new riding capability. Soon it became known as the world's fastest Indian. And then they did the LS, the light sport. Looked light, looked sleek. But of course, Pulsar riders want something more, something big. The 200NS, of course, was an amalgamation of both. A sleek, light bodywork and a nice, sprightly engine. 200 cc's. And then the super sport junkies got this, the RS200. But it's time now, of course, for the bigger Pulsar, the biggest one yet.
From somewhere, and even I do not know whether it's coming off the turntables, from behind me, from behind you. I don't know. So be careful wherever it is you are sitting. And I'm going to press the button now. You see the cameras are up, but the pulsar is not up. Okay, let me try again. Narayan, you screwed up. Let's get the pulsar. Let's get the pulsar out, Narayan.
Well then guys, so this is the biggest Pulsar, and what's giving it those credentials is of course that engine. The 250cc single cylinder oil cooled engine puts out 24.5 PS of power, 21.5 Newton meters of torque. It's still a 2-valve head, and you can see the oil cooler right there, and it's mated to a 5-speed gearbox. The engine oil capacity is about 2 liters. If you see what looks like the perimeter frame from the NS isn't. It's got a tubular frame inside. This is just a panel, and it's got a tubular frame. The engine is still the stress member, but it's an all new frame, it's an all new engine. It doesn't carry forward anything from the previous models, but it still comes with a twin spark ignition. That's a Bajaj signature, of course. So the frame is all new, so is the engine. You see the typical box swing arm, and now you have a monoshock at the rear. Preload adjustable, of course, and at the front are 37mm forks. And let's also take a look at the design. So this is the F250, that's the branding at the rear. So the F250, the F essentially stands for the fairing. It's got that quarter fairing, semi-fairing, whatever you might want to call it. That's design that has been carried forward from the 220F, so to say, but it's an all new design, of course. It's much sleeker, the lines are much stronger, much more prominent, and it looks much leaner as well. You also get that belly pan, and this is the only color that you can buy the F250 in, from what I can tell you right now. So this is the red. It's got in fact multiple shades of red. This is a slightly brighter shade. This is almost maroonish, and then you get these graphics here as well. You have these gray, silver accents, metallic accents here, and that's the headlamp. So that twin vertical setup for what we saw on the 220 is gone. Now you get a bi-beam LED, a projector bi-beam LED. You get these boomerang shaped LED daytime running lights as well, and then you will see those same kind of graphics here on the mud flap. So you will see the ABS branding here, but it comes with single channel ABS, not dual channel ABS. Up front is a 300mm disc, and at the rear is a 230mm disc. And what's also important is look at the calipers. The Bibre is gone. What you get is Grimeca. It's an Italian brand. It was recently taken over by Endurance Systems. Endurance Systems does the suspension, the chassis for Bajaj, the wheels as well, and they are now also supplying the brakes. It's not Bibre anymore. Speaking of wheels, these are lightweight wheels. You can see that Endurance branding right there. Yeah, you can see that Endurance branding right there. And these wheels are shod with the Zapper FY2 tires from MRF. It's 180/17 up front, or 130 at the rear, 17-inch of course. Now no down tube there. We're talking about the chassis. There's no down tube there, but like I said, the engine is the stress member, of course. Now that we have a little lesser crowd here, again coming back to the fairing design, you see these mesh panels, but that's not a see-through mesh, but that's again something that's taken from the design seen on the previous generation Pulsars. You see a similar mesh kind of pattern out on that panel as well, and that's the tail section. Now you get a split seat height is 795mm, which should be good for most riders. Pulsar obviously is a democratic brand. They want to make it accessible for riders of different shapes and sizes, and the 795mm should work really well. Now moving on to the instrumentation. Now this is something that I want your opinion on. I had said in my in the spy shot video that it's going to be a 3-pot layout. Sort of it is, but no 2 LCDs. You only get 1 LCD here, and you get all telltale lights here. You get a gear position indicator. You also get a distance to empty, but that's all the gimmicks that you get on this LCD. Thankfully, you still get a big analog tachometer or rev counter, and that's an ode to the performance, or the Pulsar maniacs, so to say. So I'm glad that they've retained that as well. You have the RPM limit light, you have the ABS light, check engine light, oil, battery, etc. So all those telltale lights are up there, and that's the key. Still a laser cut key. Let's switch it on for our friends at Zigwheels here, and you also get a USB port here. So this USB port is near the tank. So in case you want to mount the phone, somewhere on the handlebar, I don't know where you're going to do it on the two F250. But yeah, if you mount it somewhere there, you have a USB port right here to charge. You still get a clip-on handlebar arrangement. It's not an adjustable clip-on system, but you still get that clip-on handlebar arrangement like the 250s. And if you can see, no real controls here for that LCD, and that's because it doesn't really get any riding modes for you to select, or it doesn't even get Bluetooth connectivity, because Bajaj says it's probably not required on this category. Let me know what you think about it. But yeah, controlling this LCD are these two switches right here. You also get that engine kill switch. All the switch gear is still like the Pulsar, but you see this nice two-tone arrangement, that two-tone design that has been given to it. I think it looks quite good. The switchgear quality is also quite decent, but yeah, you can see these panel gaps here and there. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. I don't think it's a big concern. These aren't inconsistent. It's on both sides. I hope it doesn't rattle with time. You still get that 3D emblem for the Pulsar, and over to the original 220 or the original Pulsar when it came out. I think it looks quite nice. Those graphics continue here. You don't get a tank pad like you got on the 220F. There's no tank pad here, but I think it will be a part of the accessory list. Let's hope so. Moving on to the rear. That boomerang arrangement that we saw on the daytime running lights is something similar that you also get for the tail lights. And you'll see that it's got that nice Stardust pattern. We saw something similar on the Mercedes-Benz E-Class when it first came out in its long wheelbase avatar to India. And you know, that Stardust pattern, I think it looks quite nice. Let me know what you think. It creates a sort of a gradient. It looks quite nice. You also get a split grab rail. So the split grab rail, this kind of taillight arrangement, the split taillight arrangement is signature Pulsar. Then you get this floating panel right here that houses the registration plate and the LED blinkers. So the LED blinkers, you get LED blinkers on both the bikes now, and these I think look very similar to what we've seen in the KTMs. Looks quite nice, makes for a clean design. The wheel hugger, it's a two-piece unit. There's one floating panel here and one right here, so it's a two-piece design. Again, very neatly integrated, looks quite sporty. Speaking of sporty, you also get this stubby exhaust, and someone's revving the bike at the rear, so it sounds quite good. Let me just show it to you. Someone's been revving it. Yeah. Could you rev it a bit more? I think it sounds quite good. It's a signature Pulsar exhaust note. I hope the mic is catching all of that. So that's the N250. We're going to come to that in a bit. Going back to the 250, the F250 here. This one doesn't have the sari guard, right? So this one doesn't have the sari guard, but essentially this is where it will come out from. This is where it will be mounted. The rear foot pegs, they're mounted very neatly onto the subframe. It's a tubular frame like I told you. To access the rear seat, this is where you have the key fob. The keyhole for the rear seat. You get a main stand and a side stand on both. Like I said, it's a 5-speed gearbox that this engine is mated to, and you only get the toe shifter. Right, so let's also get to the naked, the N250. So they are not calling it the NS250, it's the N250. So let's get the common stuff out of the way so that we are not in the frame of our friends here. The tail is exactly the same as the 250F or the F250. So is the exhaust, so is all of this stuff at the rear. The difference, of course, is at the front. Right, so that is
One of the centerpieces of this bike is what Bajaj calls an infinity display. As you can
that's
see,
the
it's
front.
semi-digital.
It's got a very
Bajaj
sharp
says
headlight,
an analog
right? It's got a very sharp headlight. It's got two LED DRLs like we saw on the 250F, but it doesn't have that
prominent bezels anywhere, as you can
that boomerang shape, right? From the distance, it looks quite good. So yeah, I was wrong. So you get the F250 in grey or red, and similarly the N250 can also be had in grey or red, and this is what the red N250 looks like, and I think it lks quite good. Again, you get that bi-beam projector lamp
We'll find out
in this little crevice that they've created here. You get these glossy black plastics on top, and then this molded panel for the instrumentation. So the instrumentation is exactly the same. It looks a little bit better on this motorcycle compared to the F250, and that's because if you see, it's got a nice bezel-less design, and it really stands out quite nicely on the naked instead of the fed. Looks quite good. The other design change, of course, is the handlebar. Gets a flat and wide handlebar to go with its Street Fighter nature or its Street Fighter positioning. Same USB port that we saw on the F250 as well. Same kind of switchgear, backlit of course, because Bajaj loves doing that. They pioneered that in India and people loved it, and that's been carried forward here as well. It's got the same forks, it's got the same rear monoshock. That's 37mm forks up front, non-adjustable, and that's the monoshock adjustable for preload. Same frame, same engine as the F250. This one also gets the main stand, the side stand, and the 300mm disc really looks good. How does it work? How do these Grimeca brakes work? Is something that we are going to find out very soon. We will be riding these motorcycles by the end of the week. So you will see the ABS rings on both the ends, but it is a single channel ABS. So that's the N250 for you. This also has a lot of graphics here and there, a bit overdone to me. Looks a bit overdone to me, especially on the red color. I think the gray one really looks nice. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about the equipment, about the specs. Were you expecting something more out of this machine? As far as pricing goes, oh well, there is our friend Parichay, who is just giving us a good idea of what the seat height looks like. Like I told you, it's a 795mm seat height. Parichay, for our audience, could you please tell us what your height is?
5'8".
5'8". So I think that gives you a fair idea of how this motorcycle fits. Right then. Continuing with the 250 F or the F250. So the tank capacity for both the motorcycles is the same. It is 14 liters. My estimate was somewhere around 13 liters, but it is 14 liters. We don't know what the range is going to be. They have not spoken about the advertised or the claimed fuel economy yet, but that's something that we'll find out very soon. We are going to be road testing this motorcycle by the end of the week. In terms of the pricing, the 250F or the F250, of course, is the more expensive one. It is priced at 1.4 lakh rupees, while the naked is exactly 2,000 rupees cheaper. It is 1.38 lakh rupees. Let me know what you think about the pricing. Let me know what color you like better with the two motorcycles. This is the black and grey combo, and the red I've already shown you. This is again the F250 in the red color. Let me know what is your favorite color. They haven't brought the grey and black combo on the 250. Oh, they have. That is the F250 with the grey and black combo. Not much crowd there, so let's take a look at that as well. Right then. Yeah, so let me know what do you think about the colors. I think the F250 looks the best in red, and the naked looks the best in that black and grey combo. So I think I've covered everything that was there to talk about the motorcycle. If you have any further queries about this bike or its naked sibling, let me know in the comments. I will try to answer it as soon as possible. Interesting. So the rear foot peg doesn't get a rubber padding. The front one does, and it doesn't look removable either. Right. That's that. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, if you have any queries, put them in the comment section below. I'll join the discussion and I'll answer them for you. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do share this video with many of your friends who I'm sure were waiting to know more about the Pulsar 250. Thank you for watching.